Huge cost savings for generic Zepbound and other generic GLP-1 drugs, including Victoza. Hi, beautiful friends. I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I am a GLP-1 enthusiast, having lost over 101 pounds the last almost 2 years of being on Mounjaro, Zepbound, and TIRZEPATIDE compound as a result of the shortages. And on today's episode, I'm really excited to talk about the generic option with some updated information. I'm going to cite all my sources in the description link below. As always, click the ... more button and you'll see a ton of free stuff included in there, like my free meal plan, my free GLP-1 side effects tracker, my free Zepbound checklist, but also the articles in which I'll be referencing to cite my sources. So let's dive in. So in my free encouragement group, I kept getting tagged in these articles December 2024 talking about generic Victoza coming out. Victoza is under the GLP-1 is the Liraglutide. And so when I compare that to Zepbound, we know that Zepbound and Mounjaro are the same thing. They are the beast dominator right now in the GLP-1 community. We'll see with CagriSema coming out and retatrutide, other GLP-1s in the pipeline that are higher up. Although CagriSema, it was some new data that maybe it will be amending that. But anyways, comparing Liraglutide as a generic GLP-1 drug for many people who now will not be able to get the compound TIRZEPATIDE as a result of the new FDA rules, this is a fantastic option. We are not seeing Zepbound and Mounjaro going into generic anytime soon. And now with the new FDA ruling, making Zepbound FDA approved for sleep apnea, that will lengthen the patent on it to make it even further away from becoming generic in the future. But what Liraglutide, under Novo Nordisk is the manufacturer, whom Novo Nordisk manufactures Ozempic, Wegovy, Victoza. They also do Saxenda. They've been in this game a long time, honey. And so Victoza now is under, it was announced back, I kept seeing, so someone tagged me on this. And so I went to go look for December 2024, but it was back in June 2024 where it was announced about the generic. It now looks like, I think it's coming to marketplace is what I think is happening with the generic. So this is great news. I feel like Galinda from Wicked. I have an announcement. If you are having financial issues with GLP-1 drugs, Liraglutide is not as powerful as Wegovy for weight loss, and obesity management is not as powerful as Zepbound because it's Zepbound, Wegovy, and then Liraglutide, meaning Victoza. But this could be a financial option for you. And if you have somebody who's been on a compound who's been freaking out about these FDA changes, about Zepbound and Mounjaro not being in a shortage, I want you to share this video. Go share it with your bestie, because this is huge with the generic, and you may be able to get it easier through your insurance. Like there's a lot of things, and with it being generic, your pocketbook. Now there are quite a few differences in Liraglutide, but it's still, Victoza is still a GLP-1 option while the financial things while we're going through these financial changes with GLP-1 medications. If you compare Victoza Liraglutide and with the generic coming out, people lost at least 5 to 6% weight loss in a 56-week period versus Zepbound or Mounjaro, folks, same thing, different FDA approvals. It's a TIRZEPATIDE. They lost 15% in 72 weeks. So 15% 72 weeks versus 5 to 6% in 56 weeks. So 5 to 6% versus 15%, 56 weeks versus 72 weeks. So keeping that in mind, the results are lower. However, going from nothing to something is an option. This is great news. And having that generic option may be one of the loopholes for your health insurance company. As we see more and more insurance companies dropping like it's hot, and coverage for Zepbound and Mounjaro and Wegovy and Ozempic, this may be an option for you that I want you to look at and talk with your healthcare provider. I'm not a healthcare provider. This is not medical advice, simply my experience, strength, and hope from somebody who's lost 101 pounds. Y'all, I love, this is me going on my hot date with my husband, like going from morbidly obese. Clearly I don't look like that right now. I wanted to come on here. I'm still in my Christmas fa la 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 la, but I wanted to come on and make sure I shared this good news about generic Victoza now available in the US. Now, a couple of things. It has in there for type 2 diabetes and weight loss. So for my non-type 2 diabetes friends, keeping that in mind, generic Victoza will cost $469.60 for a 2-pack versus a $704.40 for a 3-pack. But with your insurance, that very well they may pick this up because of the generic option. 2 other generic Victoza options are being developed and could launch in December 2024. Patients for newer GLP-1 medications like Ozempic and Wegovy won't expire for several years down the road. So this is exciting. Let me go to I've got a couple of other news sources here that are talking about this, about comparing Victoza versus Mounjaro, comparing Victoza versus Zepbound. For people with type 2 diabetes, it would be the Mounjaro comparison on here. That Victoza, the Liraglutide, is a daily injection versus Mounjaro, which is a once-a-week injection. So it's more frequent. Mounjaro's better at lowering A1C compared to Victoza. Mounjaro can result in more weight loss, which I already shared. Victoza has proven cardiovascular benefits. So that is exciting. Victoza is also approved for children. So children ages 10 and up. And many of you have asked me in my private DMs. I'm over on Instagram and of course my free encouragement group. I'll link those down below. And so privately, and in my email too, you're welcome to email me as well. In my inbox, people asking about their kids. Victoza is approved for kids 10 and up, and so Mounjaro is not. It's approved for adults. So that is an option because we know that obesity is a disease, and that when I was on the Oprah show, that there was a young lady on there who was a teenager battling her weight and how much GLP-1 medications had helped her. Switching from Victoza to Mounjaro, talk to your healthcare provider, you can, and so that's a switch that you can make. And obviously, if you switch backwards from Mounjaro from Victoza, the Liraglutide, you're going to probably, again, I'm not a medical healthcare provider, so always talk to your medical healthcare provider, but walking in with the expectations, the weight loss is different, 5 to 6% in 56 weeks versus 15% in 72 weeks, right? There's going to be some accounting in that if you make that switch backward. But saving on Victoza and Mounjaro, that with Mounjaro they have the savings card, but for Victoza, you can look to see if your insurance, because it's now a generic, that may be the loophole you're looking for. And so when we talk about finances, I self-pay. My insurance does not cover my Zepbound or my Mounjaro, and obviously not my compounds when I was taking those. And I'm not on those at the same time. I've switched because of the shortage. Sometimes that confuses people. No, I'm only one at a time. But Victoza, it can be combined with other medications too. So people who are worried with their health insurance, I told you guys, and I'm going to keep telling you, there's a ton of options. It may feel scary about compounds getting taken away, having TIRZEPATIDE getting taken off the market now here in the upcoming weeks. Semaglutide, that is the active ingredient in Wegovy and Ozempic, they still have compounds right now. Go to Join Fridays, use the discount code QUEEN and talk to their healthcare providers. They do telehealth for obesity management, but also prescribe, in addition to brand names, they do also prescribe compounds. And now that option is semaglutide too. And they do have 3-month options with that too, which is amazing. So slightly different data with these, but still nonetheless an option for you too if you're looking for a generic option of the Liraglutide. And I know that some people are like, oh, I just want to get Zepbound for generic. Know that each time a prescription or a drug gets, like Zepbound, gets these new FDA approvals, it's going to push back the patent on it. So we're leapfrogging backwards. I didn't know that until recently. I'm like, what? What do you mean? Yeah, it pushes it back because that's the way the patents are working. And I'm still not I'm going to be doing more and more research on that. So feel free to lovingly correct me in the comments. But as I learn more about it, that's my understanding, is that each time that these new approvals come out, it's going to push them back. So we're seeing for Wegovy cardiovascular disease changes on there that I could get approved for that. That is going to push things back too for the generic components for Wegovy, which is semaglutide, versus TIRZEPATIDE, which is Mounjaro and Zepbound. So something to think about as we go through here. And one of the things to compare, I wanted to talk about liraglutide, which is not Victoza. This is Saxenda. Saxenda is a liraglutide versus tirzepatide. I found this fascinating. So different than the generic approval for Victoza, which I was just talking about. But I want to give you some options too. I feel like it's just not fair. And I want you to have that tirzepatide compounds are getting taken off because the shortage, the FDA shortage is over. In my group, we've had quite a few discussions on that as well. In my experience, it is over. I'm able to get my medications. For other people, it is not. And so keeping that in mind, the cost for Saxenda, which is a liraglutide, GLP-1 medication, is $1,430, whereas the cost for Zepbound is $1,125 before the savings card. So keeping that in mind, the half-life dose of liraglutide Saxenda is 13 hours. Do you want to guess what the half-life dose for Zepbound and Mounjaro is? 120 hours. If you said 120 hours, you would be correct. Ding, 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 ding. So that's crazy, right? But we know that Saxenda is the liraglutide is a daily injection. So keeping that in mind too, right? But having that half-life dose on there, and that you can't, of course, with both of them, there's like the option, there's the potential of having the thyroid cancer, pancreatitis, cardiovascular, like there's a bunch of other side effects you want to talk about, like severe ones with your medical healthcare provider. But I found that interesting. I wanted to share that too, of some of the similarities of these two. Of yes, we have these powerhouse drugs available, but hold on, I got it. My lips are like so chapped. Been drinking so much water, my lips are like, help! I need some gloss. Knowing that you don't have to go cold turkey. If you're on compounds, talk to your daggone healthcare provider, because maybe liraglutide, with now the generic Victoza being an option, or maybe Saxenda. Like, look at some of these other GLP-1s that have been on the market for a long time, but having Victoza coming out with the generic part, that is huge. And that hopefully will broaden insurance coverage. Now, we know with Medicare and Medicaid, and this is for type 2 diabetics too, by the way, for Medicare and Medicaid, that they will not cover weight loss drugs because of back in the fen-phan days, they made a law with that. Hopefully that is going to, we'll see in 2025 if lobbyists are able to get that overturned or changed. I know that Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly are lobbying to get that rule taken off with Medicare and Medicaid. But getting drugs with these other FDA approvals, the beautiful part about that is that does open up then for potentially with Medicare, Medicaid, open doors that are not with the weight loss channel, but with the other, it's Zepbound, Mounjaro, but for sleep apnea, it's the same medication, just FDA approval for sleep apnea for Zepbound, for example. So we're seeing these little, like, we're making progress here, friends. We are making progress. Sometimes it feels like whiplash with how fast things are going, but also sometimes it feels so slow on a turtle speed. You guys know I've got my Eli Myrtle turtle here. She's got eyelashes too. If it is taking longer than anticipated with these drugs to get to where we need to be so they're financially viable for everybody, which it's going to take some time. As an economist's daughter, supply and demand. And right now there's so much demand, and with the shortages being in supplies and the construction of the new facilities for Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly not complete and won't be complete for some time, that we're just going to continue to be smart, to be patient, to be loving, to be kind, and be solution-oriented as we always are. And going back to what can I control? Well, I can control what I'm eating, and I can control how much physical activity I'm doing today. Coming off the heels now of Christmas for me celebrating, and this like in between, I'm filming this on December 26th, so I'm not sure when this is coming out, but like in between of like, I'm still eating some junk food and things like that, that is a choice. I do have that choice. And I do have the choice to go walking. I do have the choice to move my body. And I do have the choice of when I go to sleep and things like that, of really focusing on what I do have the choice with versus what I don't have. Because if I go down the rabbit hole of what I don't have, what insurance companies are doing, and yes, we need to fight the fights on those things, but also at some point too, collectively taking back the ownership for myself of what am I doing for my own body. And sometimes I'm like, oof, that's a tough pill to swallow, or a tough injector to inject. Gosh, I need to work a little bit harder, you know, on my own stuff too, which is always exciting. Last night, I wanted to tell you guys what a big difference for me, and I know I've talked about this before, but Magnesium Breakthrough, 7 types of magnesium in one pill for me, obviously before taking any supplement, talk to your healthcare provider. What a big difference this has made for my sleep. I have the sleep study on my Oura Ring to prove my sleep changes. Discount code QUEEN, I'll link down their direct website down on the description link below. On bioptimizers.com, how much I take 2 to 3 of their magnesium pills per night. It has helped so much with getting back into walking hardcore. I walk 2 to 6 miles per day. My legs hurt and I need that. Like literally, I'm like, oh, I'm so grateful to be taking my magnesium for muscle recovery. But constipation, I don't have that problem as a result of taking Magnesium Breakthrough. Anxiety, substantially less. Sleep, helping me with my sleep. I mean, it helps with so many different things, but those right there, I'm like, not having leg cramps, the anxiety, the sleep, and constipation, like that's huge. Huge. Just the constipation alone, honey. So get yours, Magnesium Breakthrough. There's a bundle set going right now. It's a 3-pack that you get in addition to the discount code QUEEN. There should be for a limited time and an extra discount when you buy 3 of them. There's a bundle pack. You'll see it on the link in the description link below. They're very generous to here at the Countess of Shopping community. I appreciate Bioptima. I'm not sponsored today's video by them. I love their stuff. So all their stuff is out because the previous video I was filming was, but today's is not. I wanted to give a shout out because I love them so much. It's made such a big difference for me to look like this from when I previously looked like this. Crazy. One of y'all were commenting too. This was me this summer wearing my skirt. That was the summer. And then this is now in December of just a few months ago. I noticed a difference. You guys may not be able to. It's a little blanchi on the upper left-hand side where my stuff, but like for me, I'm like, thank goodness before and after pictures. Did you hear Mr. Freddie and Wilma? Freddie and Wilma are going at it out there. There must be a rabbit out there. There's a squirrel out there. There's some sort of animal. Oh man, I'm gonna go now. Our emoji of the day is gonna be a high heel. Because aren't their shoes cute? They're Versace inspired 2 years ago. They're on my Amazon shopping list, which is linked down in the description link below. I'm obsessed with those shoes. They are comfortable too. I'm 6 feet tall, almost. They're very, very comfortable. I've had ankle surgery, very comfortable with the chunky heel. Chunky, chunky, chunky. So today's emoji of the day is gonna be a high heel. I do emojis of the day so I can get to know you better by seeing your name pop up like I know you. It's the coolest thing. It's so cool. And it's my bat signal. I'll pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, I'll uplift you in positive thought. But also your name showing up, that pattern recognition. Your accountability question. What are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? To me, I am walking and I'm also getting my water in. I am getting back on water talk. And that includes, of course, my LMNT electrolyte packet. Oh, they're playing outside. They're so cute right now. Wilma and Freddie, they're so cute. I've been doing a third, a third, a third. So a third for 40 ounces, a third a packet for another 40 ounces, and then the final third for the final. And I do that by 11 o'clock. It's been the best. One of you had mentioned about the orange flavor for LMNT. They have 8 free packets with any purchase. I'll link that down in the description link below too. I have an announcement. By the way, I'm so excited as a Christian woman about Wicked coming out to live streaming on December 31st. I love that movie. I love that movie. Why did I mention that? There was a reason. Oh, because I said I have an announcement. That's why, because I was talking about that. Okay, we've gone down the rabbit hole, haven't we? Put down below, I was going to say, put down the emoji of the day, which is a moose. It's not a moose, it's a high heel. It's a stiletto. I love you guys so super much. And I'm really grateful for you. You guys are in my New Year's thankfulness. I'm so appreciative for each and every one of you. And I hope you guys have had a wonderful holiday season. For my beautiful friends celebrating Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah. I know that's going on right now too. Happy Hanukkah to you. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping, count my blessings because life is delicious. I will see you on tomorrow's video. Make sure you click like and share this with your bestie. Love you. See you tomorrow. Bye guys.